Hello, I am Preetham Sarkar, a PhD student at Department of ECE at Queen's University of Canada. I'll be presenting our paper Cardiogan, Attentive Generative Adversarial Network with Dual Discriminators for Synthesis of ECG from PPG. This is the outline of my presentation. First, I will present a brief background related to this study. Next, I will discuss the proposed method and implementation details, which is then followed by results and analysis. Next, we will present a short video to demonstrate how Cardiogan can be integrated to an existing PPG-based variable for continuous cardiac activity monitoring, and which is then followed by a summary of our work. So in this study, our goal is to enable the use of ECG in wrist-based wearable devices such as smartwatches for continuous cardiac monitoring. Now currently there are no reliable solutions are available for continuous ECG monitoring in wrist-based wearable devices which are feasible for everyday and pervasive use. So there are a few motivation behind doing this study. So in a report by World Health Organization in 2017, it shows that cardiovascular diseases cause approximately 31% of global deaths worldwide. And we believe that continuous variable based ECG could enable early diagnosis of cardiovascular diseases, and in turn, early preventive measures can be taken in order to overcome severe cardiac problems. So, to address this problem, we propose Cardiogan, a generative adversarial network which takes PPG as input and generates ECG as output. So before I proceed further, I will briefly introduce the two modalities that have been used in this study. So one of them is ECG, which stands for electrocardiogram. So ECG is an electrical measurement of cardiac activity. And then we use PPG. PPG stands for photoplethysmogram, which is an optical measurement for volumetric changes in blood circulation. Now, both the modalities contain valuable cardiovascular information. However, from a medical perspective, ECG is more useful as it carries additional cardiac information in comparison to PPG. So, PPG to ECG translation was first attempted by Zhu and others, and they used a discrete cosine transformation technique in order to map each PPG cycle to its corresponding ECG cycle, which is then followed by a linear regression model was trained in order to learn the relation between the CT coefficients of PPG segments and their corresponding ECG segments. Now we realize there are several limitations in this approach. First of all, the model failed to produce reliable ECG data in a subject-independent manner, which limits its application to only previously seen subjects' data. Secondly, the relation between PPG segments and ECG segments are not always linear. Therefore, in several cases, the model failed to capture the nonlinear relationships between ECG and PPG domains. Further, no experiments have been performed to indicate any performance enhancement gain from using the generated ECG data as opposed to the available PPG. For example, a comparison of measured heart rate and so on. So to tackle these real issues, we propose Cardiogan, and this is our proposed framework. Here we utilize an attention-based generator and dual time domain and frequency domain discriminators along with a cycle GAN backbone. So the left side shows the architecture for forward mapping, and the right side shows the architecture for inverse mapping. And I will further explain our proposed methods in next slides. So our objective here is to learn the mapping between PPG and ECG domain, and for the sake of simplicity, I will just explain the forward mapping, which is the mapping from PPG to ECG, and the inverse mapping is also achieved in similar fashion. So here we introduce the generator GE, which takes PPG as input and generates ECG as output. Here we adopt attention unit as our generator architecture. We chose attention based generators to learn to better focus on salient features which are passing through the skip connections of unit. Next, the fake ECGs are denoted as E prime, which is the output of generator GE, and further reconstructed PPGs are denoted as P double prime, which is the output of GP, for the given input as E prime. We utilize dual discriminators DTE and DFE, where DTE discriminates between real and fake ECG in time domain, and DFE discriminates ECG in frequency. For that, first we performed short-term Fourier transformation of real and generated ECG, and then we feed to the discriminator DFE in order to discriminate data into frequency domain. So we chose a dual discriminator strategy in order to preserve the integrity of generated data in both time as well as frequency domain. And we use a simple CNN architecture here with 4 convolution layer as our discriminator. So next we apply adversarial loss in both forward as well as inverse mapping, and for the forward mapping we have 2 adversarial losses corresponding to 2 discriminators, and next we minimize the adversarial loss component of the generator and maximize the adversarial loss component of the discriminator in order to learn the mapping from PPG to ECG, and the same technique was used in case of inverse mapping as well. So the other component of our objective function is cyclic consistency loss or reconstruction loss. We use reconstruction loss here to ensure that the forward mapping and inverse mapping are consistent. So the final objective function in CardioGAN is a combination of adversarial loss and cyclic consistency loss. Here we introduce alpha, beta, and lambda, where alpha and beta are adversarial loss coefficient corresponding to dt and df respectively, and lambda is the cyclic consistency loss coefficient. And we empirically set alpha, beta, and lambda as 3, 1, and 30 respectively. So to train and test our approach, we use 4 very popular ECG PPG datasets, namely BIDMC, CAPNO, DALIA, and VSAT. We combine these 4 datasets in order to enable a multi-corpus approach, leveraging the large and diverse distribution of data for different factors such as activity, age, among others. So for example, BIDMC and CAPNO were collected in a medical setup, whereas DALIA and VSAT were collected where participants went through some daily life activities such as reading books, watching movies, doing some desk jobs, and so on. So the aggregated dataset contains total 125 participants with a balanced male-female ratio and an approximate size of 70 hours of ECG PPG recordings of each modality. And these datasets were collected using different sensors and at a different sampling frequency as mentioned here. So since the mentioned datasets have been collected at a different sampling frequency, as a first step of data preparation, we resampled both the ECG and PPG signals at a sample rate of 128 Hz. And as the raw signals contain noise, we performed basic filtering techniques. Next, we perform a person-specific Z-score normalization, and then we segment the ECG and PPG signals into 4 seconds of window, and then we perform min-max normalization in order to restrict the input data in a specific range. Next, we divide the whole dataset into training as well as testing, and for that we kept 80% of participants from each dataset for training and 20% of participants from each dataset for testing, which results into 101 participants for training data and 24 participants for test data. So to enable the CardioGAN to be trained in an unpaired fashion, we shuffle the ECG and PPG segments from each dataset separately, eliminating the coupling between ECG and PPG, followed by a shuffling of the order of the dataset themselves for ECG and PPG separately. So next we use a batch size of 128 and we train our model for 15 epochs with a fixed learning rate for initial 10 epochs, and then we linearly decrease learning rate to 0, and we use Adam optimizer to train our model. So here we present a number of samples of ECG signals generated by Cardiogan, which clearly shows that our proposed network is able to learn to reconstruct the shape of the original ECG signals from corresponding PPG inputs. So here the top row shows the generated ECG from Cardiogan, and the middle row shows the given input PPG, and the bottom row shows the original or ground truth ECG data. So a careful observation shows that in some cases the generated ECG signals exhibit a small time lag with respect to the original ECG signal. And the root cause of this time delay is the pulse arrival time, which is defined as the time taken by the PPG pulse to travel from the heart to a distal site from where the PPG is collected. For example, wrist or fingertip or ear or other places. Nonetheless, this time lag is consistent for all the bits across a single generated ECG signal as a simple offset, and therefore it doesn't affect the quality of the generated ECG data. So, in order to quantify the quality and usability of generated ECG with respect to original PPG, we calculate mean absolute error metric for the heart rate in beats per minute, where ground truth heart rate is obtained from original ECG data. And we observed that for 3 of the 4 datasets, the heart rate measured from the ECG from the generated ECG um, obtained from Cardiogan is more accurate other than the heart rate measured from the input PPG signal. And for CAPNO dataset, in which our ECG shows higher error compared to the other works based on PPG, the difference is quite marginal, especially in comparison to the performance gain achieved across other datasets. And next, to evaluate the impact of our solution based on different window sizes, we measure mean absolute error from generated ECG over different windows and present the results in comparison to mean absolute error from original PPG across all the subjects available in 4 datasets. And we notice that a very consistent performance gain across different window sizes, which further demonstrates the stability of the results produced by Cardiogan. So the proposed Cardiogan consists of attention-based generators and dual discriminators. As discussed earlier, in order to investigate the usefulness of the attention mechanism as well as dual discriminators, we perform an ablation study of 2 variants of the network by removing each component individually. So Cardiogan without dual discriminator is a variant where only time domain discriminator was used and no changes has been done on the generator. And Cardiogan without attention is the variant where the generator doesn't contain an attention mechanism, but it uses both the discriminators. And the results presented here evidently shows that the benefit of using proposed Cardiogan and over its ablation variants. Next, in order to better understand what has been learned through the attention mechanism in the generator, we visualize the attention maps applied to the very last skip connection of the generator GE, and we chose the attention applied to the last skip connection since this layer is the closest to the final output, and that's why it's more interpretable. And for better visualization, we superimpose the attention map on top of the output of the generator, and it shows that our model learns to generally focus on the PQRST complexes, which in turn helps the generator to learn the exact shape of the ECG waveform. So we further investigate the performance of Cardiogan while training with paired ECG PPG inputs as opposed to our original approach, where we used unpaired PPG ECG input. To train the Cardiogan in a paired fashion, we follow the same training process and that has been discussed earlier, except we keep the coupling between ECG and PPG pairs intact in the input data. And we notice that while cardiogan paired does learn well to generate ECG bits from PPG inputs, however, it fails to learn the exact shape of the original ECG waveforms. And this might be because an unpaired sharing scheme actually forces the network to learn stronger user independent mapping between PPG and ECG compared to user dependent paired training. Now we also feel that maybe a different architecture could have been performed better in case of paired training, for example, pix-to-pix network. So in this context, it should be noted that the goal of this experiment is just to evaluate the performance of cardiogan while training in a paired fashion without making any fundamental changes in the architecture. So here I'll present a video to demonstrate how cardiogan can be integrated to an existing PPG based wearable for continuous ECG monitoring. To do so, we use an Empatica E4, a wearable device um, that captures PPG data from the wrist and transfers the data via Bluetooth to the computer. And here cardiogan trained on public datasets, specifically the generator GE, uh, converts the incoming PPG to their corresponding ECG waveform. So in the right side, the bottom plot shows the incoming real-time PPG, while the plot at the top shows the generated ECG outputs over a 10 seconds window. And further bottom of the screen, we show that the heart rate in beats per minute or BPM calculated from PPG as well as generated ECG over the same window. And we observe that while the two heart rate measurements are mostly consistent, however in some cases there are clear differences between the heart rate measured from the PPG corresponding to and their corresponding ECG over the same 10-second duration. So in summary, we propose a novel framework called Cardiogan for generating ECG signals from PPG input, and we believe that our proposed approach has the potential to be used for continuous cardiac activity monitoring. And to the best of our knowledge, no other studies have attempted to generate ECG from PPG or in fact any cross-modality signal-to-signal translation in the biosignal domain using GAN or any other deep learning techniques. And further, we show that the generated ECG obtained from cardiogan provides more accurate heart rate estimation compared to heart rate values calculated from the original PPG signal. And finally, we also show that cardiogan can be integrated into existing PPG based variable to obtain continuous synthetic ECG. So we identify several possible future works in this direction. So first of all, the use of generated ECG in other tasks should also be evaluated. For example, identification of cardiovascular diseases or arrhythmia detection and so on. Next, synthesizing multi-lead ECG can also be studied in order to extract more useful cardiac information which are often missing in single channel ECG recording. Further research can also be carried out towards cross-modality signal-to-signal translation in the biosignal domain, which will allow for less available physiological signal recordings to be generated from more affordable and readily available biosignals. Lastly, we believe that further research should also be conducted towards defining more robust evaluation metrics in order to quantify the quality of synthesized biosignals based on the inherent properties of different modalities. Thank you for watching our video. Please contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.